Hi, and welcome to another edition of Tina's Take on AI. We have been speaking to companies that are using AI to innovate, to be able to try to get to drive business, to be strategic. And today I'm really excited about talking with Jonah, who's going to talk a little bit about his company, Linkaro. And, what it really does is it explores your own, one of the things we will talk about is, how do you find customers? And if you think about it, the best way to find customers is referrals. And so Jonah has put some uh, AI technology behind that process. And so I'm going to have him talk a little bit about Linkaro and then how long he's been doing it and what the premise is, because it's really fascinating. So, Jonah, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Tina. It's pretty simple premise. It's helping B2B companies grow through their customers. Like you said, referrals is usually kind of the tip of the spear for most groups because, they do all this work to acquire customers and then service customers in most cases. From there, they kind of don't extract any additional value from the people who are satisfied with their product. And so we want to help these companies set up very easily avenues to generate revenue through their existing client base or to influence maybe other deals that they're working through things like reference calls between a current happy customer and a prospect that the company's working or a video testimonial. And so all our whole platform is centered around leveraging all the investment and hard work that you've done to create a happy customer to continue to use that as a resource to grow your business. And so a referral piece that Tina had mentioned is basically focused on scanning and staying up to date on where your customers are employed. When a customer changes jobs, say they switch, they go from working at Google to Microsoft or something like that, they're typically staying within an industry and in most cases within a similar role to the role they were at previously. And so if I were to switch and go to another company, the product that I was using prior as your customer is most likely a good fit for the new role that I've landed. And so we alert companies when their customers switch to a new role to ask for an introduction to that new company if it fits within their ICP. We can also go retroactive. So if they've worked at two or three other companies in the past that would fit your ICP, we can have that customer make an introduction to past employers, offer incentives and all those types of things. But yeah, that's kind of the essence of the platform. Tina, did you want me to break down anything more specifically or?
Well, maybe if you could give a little bit of your background, because I think, the fact that you are well recognized in the industry and that this is a new venture for you, but you've had success in the past is very relevant for people because, it's not something that is brand new to you. You're experienced in this field.
Yeah, my background's all in tech sales, basically. And so the problem that I had as a tech sales rep is kind of the problem I set out to solve as a founder. Like, I'm sure a lot of the people you talk to, Tina,
Yeah.
have that story. Like, I experienced this myself and wanted to find a good solution for it. I think, yeah, my background is as an account executive at early stage software companies was, exactly that. Trying to build credibility with prospects, especially when you don't have a huge brand name behind your product, right? And so one of the things that we leveraged were reference calls, and that's kind of how I started Linkara, was helping connect your current customers on calls with prospects to build the credibility you need to close these deals as an early stage company. Um, and then it kind of evolved into, okay, well, that's great. That can influence revenue, right? If a reference call goes well, it will probably increase your close rate, maybe speed up the deal cycle for you, but it doesn't necessarily generate net new revenue for a business. And so that's kind of how we pivoted across into the referral piece because that can directly, obviously, um, contribute to revenue growth for a company. And so that's kind of how we went down the rabbit hole of the referral piece. And I just had never seen something done in my previous roles that was simple. I think with the way software is being built now, Tina, you've probably seen a lot of this. People expect things to be more agentic, right?
Yeah.
The traditional process to set up a company on your software platform needs to be a lot shorter, a lot easier. Your software needs to do a lot more for the company,
Yeah.
right? Than just be a place to store data, for example. You need to actually have things that are actionable. And so I've taken that mindset and tried to apply it to Linkaro so that it has that, AI agentic feel to it, to where I can go in, see a dashboard. Once I'm connected and have it integrated to my CRM, I'm basically looking at dashboards and asking Linkaro to go and generate lists for me of companies that fit our ICP, and maybe finding out which customers used to work there and presenting me with those lists. So the product itself ideally is doing most of the legwork and making it super easy for customers. I think that's one of the biggest shifts in software that's happening right now, from my perspective, is, you know, making your software products a lot more useful to the end user, to where setup time is a lot quicker. Um, you know, results are a lot easier to generate on the platform, and so that's kind of the perspective that we're trying to take with Linkaro.
And so, who are your ideal clients primarily?
Well, I'm sure you've noticed I said, that we kind of went through a pivot in the process of building the company, and so it's kind of changed over time. At first, we were trying to attack large enterprise companies who are selling, $100,000 plus licenses per year. So, if you're selling a contract, you're charging $100,000 or more per year to use your software. And then kind of pivoted away from that, and now I'm mostly working with um, SMB, small to medium sized businesses, who have an average contract value of about $15,000 a year or more, kind of in that range. The startup space has been worked really well for us. We work with a lot of Utah based startups. We're in Utah as well. Um, and so, yeah, that's kind of the ICP right now. So people in the B2B software space who are selling contracts anywhere from 15 to maybe $50,000 a year.
And like, where do you see some of the bottlenecks in your business?
Well, we have plenty, as most early stage startups have.
That's right.
I actually, like I mentioned, because of my background in early stage software sales, in the B2B space, I'm fairly familiar and adept at generating leads, building a pipeline, closing deals, all of the top of funnel kind of activities we have down pat, I would say. The bottlenecks, and this is probably more because of my inexperience in this space, and learning to, take on as a CEO other aspects of the business, not just the sales and marketing
Yeah.
arms of the company. We have a lot of bottlenecks in, like, customer retention, for example. So, like, servicing accounts from like a customer success perspective,
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of that early on was probably because I just didn't have the experience and
Yeah.
didn't know exactly, you know, how to manage that all properly. But yeah, as I've gone along, I've kind of noticed that's where I've tried to focus most of my personal growth as the founder of the company is, how can I properly onboard a company so that they're set up for success and don't end up churning,
Yeah.
because I'm really good at all the early stage aspects of growing the business. It's getting somebody actually onboarded, right? Speaking with the technical lead at the customer's company to get Linkaro integrated to their CRM. And then once that's integrated, kind of quarterbacking everything so that their team can have success on the platform has been one of the hardest parts, for me to learn and to, to
I
kind
mean,
of get up
that's,
to speed.
Jonah, that is the hardest part of any business, right? Is the retention of the client. So,
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody else this morning, and they're like, "Well, you know, we had we were at stage 3 in terms of revenue, and then we kind of blew it on delivery, and so we dropped back down to a stage 2 because we couldn't deliver, and we were
Yeah.
just focused on sales, 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 and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
we had a big delivery problem. So it's not uncommon, right? It's not uncommon at all to say, hey, I might need to outsource some key functions because we can't do everything. Like, especially if you've got a lean teams, which everybody kind of does nowadays, you want to outsource as much as you can to experts. So it
Yeah.
is fascinating to me as somebody who's like talking to different companies that this is the key. It's a very critical part that we all struggle with. It's not, it's. I mean, I struggle with it as well. We all struggle with that. And I think it is finding the right people to execute for you. That's really what you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
So then the other thing is, where do you see, where are you focused in terms of 26? Like, what do you think are your 3 key objectives for the year?
3 key objectives is increasing our customer retention rate. Would be probably at the top of the list. I mean, it's
Yeah.
basically the same answer that I just gave. Um, Obviously, we have revenue targets. Being an early stage company, you lean into free trials effectively. Hey, like I know that we're new, we don't have a lot of necessarily uh, customer voices that can vouch for everything that we're doing, and so to compensate for that, we'll let you use the Linkaro platform for free for a couple of months to prove out our concept and our platform and everything like that, and then move into a paid relationship. And so, moving away from free trials is a huge goal for 2026 as well. And then the third piece, I would say, as a goal for 2026 is to expand the referral aspect of our platform. So this is more of a product goal to not just include the generation of the referral lead, like, hey, here's the warm introduction from your client to one of their past employers, and generating that lead for your sales team, but also tracking that lead through the sales cycle, reporting on, conversion rates, because ideally these are going to be higher. So kind of building backwards from the initial lead that we're generating is one of the product goals that we have for Linkaro. So those are some of the, I mean, we have probably a million other goals, but some of the top
Yeah.
goals that we're focused on.
And I know I'm not a software company, but I am familiar with the free trials, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that you feel, how's your conversion rate been? Is it too early to have sort of a pattern yet, or are you seeing that adoption rate improving?
Yeah, it is improving as our product improves, right? Like some of the earlier people that we onboarded churned out very quickly, and it was probably just because the product, quite frankly, wasn't
Ready? Yeah.
ready or very useful. And it's all great, even though that they did churn out. It's like, oh, here are the problems that we see with it. And that all leads into software development and where we take the product from kind of like a product management perspective. Uh, but yeah, steadily it does increase over time. Um, and that's part of early stage stuff is it's what is working and what isn't, what's causing people to maybe churn out. Um, and so, yeah, we have seen it increase over time for sure.
And how long do you normally give them as a free trial? Is it like I said, you said a couple of months? Is that kind of normal?
Yeah,
6 months.
typical. Yeah, 3 months. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's good for anyone on the call who's maybe, I know we don't want to do free trials, but if it's somebody's interested in learning more about the service and how they would integrate it, and they can reach out to you directly, of course. But then, the fact that they have this option, if that's something that you could offer to the listeners, what the viewers.
Yeah, 100%. And then some of the stuff we'll do as well is it's like, look, we'll let you use the platform for free because we have to spend money to monitor your employment. Like the technology behind our product costs money just to have
Yeah.
running for your customer base, which is fine. We're willing to, spend money to gain customers by offering that free trial. But we'll say, look, if we generate an introduction or a referral lead, let's maybe align on a cost per lead or something like that, even during the free trial, so that if it is actually working, there's a rev share effectively
Yeah.
in place.
Okay, perfect. Anything else that I didn't cover that you want to highlight about the company, your background, the journey you've been on? Because I know that first year is tough. I'm in the first year myself, and it's tough.
Yeah, no, it's extremely tough, especially being a solo team effectively. I'm the only person on the go-to-market side and customer-facing side. The only other employees we have are developers. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I have a million different hats that I wear. But no, I think the message that I would want to leave with people is, let Linkaro, or just in general, even if it's not Linkaro, leverage the hard work and everything that you've put in to acquire and service your customer base that you have right now, and tap into those customers to continue to grow your business, whether it's through things like video testimonials or getting them on calls with prospects to influence the top of funnel deals that you're working and hopefully increase your close rates and things like that, or if it's directly with referral generation to generate pipeline for your sales team. That's my background. I have that experience in software sales, and that's what I'm good at personally, and that's what led me to build Linkaro. And so that's what I would leave with people: grow through your customers, tap into all the hard work and effort you've already put in to acquire them, and use that as a channel to grow your business as well in 2026. So
I mean, for someone who's coming out of financial services, it's all about referrals because, that level of trust is already built. So you have a great starting, point for conversation. So it makes sense to be able to leverage that in a way that makes sense for both the user and the client, right? It's like everybody gets to benefit from this. I think it's a really clever idea, Jonah. Very excited about the prospects of Linkaro and everything that you're doing. So,
thanks a lot. Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today. This program is sponsored by the growthstack.ai, and I look forward to continuing the dialogue and checking back with you in a few months to see how things are going. So we will have your contact information in the introduction to the podcast, and we'll get it up shortly. I actually hired somebody now to help me with this because it was getting to be a little bit crazy. So
Beautiful.
the time to get it up on the podcast is going to be a lot faster now.
Awesome. No, I look forward to it. Thank you so much, Gina.
Thank you very much, Joan. If you could just hang on a second. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, audience.